Okay, good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the Village Board meeting for Monday, January 5th, 2026. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Lapidanis?
Here.
Trustee Anderley?
Here.
Trustee Wilbrand?
Here.
Trustee Price?
Here.
Trustee Huska?
Here.
Trustee Enderle, could you please lead us in the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of the agenda. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to tonight's agenda as drafted? Seeing no changes suggested, I'd entertain a motion to approve said agenda.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Alapajanis. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to President's Report, I just wanted to note the front entrance looks great, so thank you to the team for getting that done. Moving on to reports and questions from trustees and working groups, starting with Trustee Anderley.
Just the agenda.
Trustee Alapajanis.
Just the agenda.
Trustee Johnson.
Just the agenda.
Thank you. Trustee Huska.
I have nothing.
Trustee Price.
Nothing.
Trustee Wilbraham. Okay. Moving on to staff reports. Joe, anything from the team?
Nothing on the agenda.
Okay. Moving on to questions from the audience. This is an opportunity for those in attendance to address the board on items that are both on the agenda and not on the agenda. I don't have any speaking slips, so does anyone wish to address the board? Okay, we'll move on. Consent agenda items A through D. I need to read each. Item A, approval of bill list for $562,395.63. Item B, the 2026 Safer Firefighter Grant application. Item C, approval of minutes for the regular board meeting for December 1st, 2025. And item D, Dundee Township Historical Society annual contribution. Is there a desire by any board member to remove any of the items from tonight's consent agenda? Hearing no suggested changes, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through D.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by Trustee Alapajanis. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Huska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapidanis?
Aye.
Trustee Anderley?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbrand?
Abstain.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
5 ayes, 1 abstention, motion carries. Moving on to unfinished business, item A, architectural firm selection, Public Safety Center number 3. Trustee Wilbraham.
Yes, this is a continued discussion on our final two selections for Public Safety Building 3, our new police department. There were some questions, some answers, and some additional material in your packet. I believe today it's continued discussion and looking for direction given to staff to engage a final selection.
So Joe, you said Chief Green will be here?
Yes, he had the day off, but he said he was going to be
Oh.
at the meeting.
Okay,
He says he'll be over here in a couple.
okay. Chief Spiro, any thoughts on, I know it's a separate facility, were you party to the discussions?
Yes, I participate in all the interviews.
Trust, yes.
Why don't we just wait for Chief to get
Okay.
here, and then we can take the other two items he says he's on his way.
Okay. Trustee Wilbraham, is that okay if we revisit this in a moment?
That's fine. Do you need a motion to pass it, or can you just?
I think we just come back to it.
Council, and any, just move forward and then we'll come back to it. All right, unfinished is business item B, authorization to award request for qualifications for First Street Phase 3 engineering. Trustee Huska.
This is First Street, and as part of the process, because there is a grant involved, we have to request for an engineering firm for Phase 3 engineering. We can't just choose whoever we want, as we did in the first two, and so by soliciting for that through the process as we did, we ended up with Baxter and Woodman as the only ones that stepped up to the plate on this item. So now it gets, the request for using Baxter and Woodman gets sent down to, was it IDOT or?
Yes.
And we have to wait for their approval in the next month or two. So there's no no money expenditure here, this is just part of the process.
Correct. And I would only point out that Baxter and Woodman has indicated that the RFQ for the Phase 3 estimate will be closer to the $100,000 range, not $150,000 range.
And so there's no requirement from IDOT or anything that we have to have some minimum number of submittals or anything
No,
like that?
as long as we adhere to the process,
Okay.
which is Daily Herald publication and our website, which we did. In fact, we submitted it as a sole source, and IDOT emailed back today that they've approved it and accepted and agreed that we adhered to the policy.
Okay, that sounds good. And it works out well. It would be odd to have the firm that designed it not part of overseeing construction. We'd have to have a contract probably anyway with them for RFIs and stuff like that. So anyway, this works out well.
So the IDOT requirement is those for the signals? Is
No,
that,
this is First Street resurfacing.
yeah,
This is the grant.
so it
So the
does
grant
require.
requires that we have to
Even-
do it competitively,
Okay.
based on qualifications.
Okay, so that's got nothing to do with like, IDOT is the approval agency, I was.
Just because the
confused
grant comes from them.
with- Okay, all right.
Federal funds are dispersed through IDOT, through Kane County.
All right, and it's only for, it's for what we talked about, the bump outs and all that, just
Resurfacing and the bump outs.
resurfacing, and nothing on the signals or anything like that.
No, this is strictly from Oregon to the dead end.
Okay, and then is Baxter as part of the engineering plan? I saw a bunch of information about like handling issues, or are they the management of, like, if someone complains that you've cut too much curb, or they can't get out of their driveway, who manages that? Is that
It'd be
Village?
Eric and the resident engineer that Baxter assigns to the project.
They'll handle all
So
those.
chances are complaints would come into Village Hall.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, staff would talk to them. I suppose the resident engineer might have somebody corner them
Right.
on the
I mean, it
street,
happens
but
all the
then-
time, but you guys are gonna see you're gonna see a final plan set before we go out for authorization to bid.
And every IDOT project, this process was driven that we had to do the RFQ, but by the grant, but every project has construction oversight. And so this is just that. So, somebody, and sometimes staff will do them depending on the size of the city and the complexity of the project. But, for a project like this, most of the time we have the engineer kind of do the oversight, make sure, quantities are there, they're doing it per plan, all that sort of stuff.
Okay, last question is in regards to lead service lines. Is this coordinated with the lead service? Are they doing lead service first and then this?
Yes,
Okay.
And do we have everybody in First Street?
not yet. I mean, we've basically just started, and we're starting on Third Street, and we're working our way around.
Okay, but I mean, in terms of approvals from,
Best of my knowledge, yes.
okay, because I know some were slow coming in.
Yeah, but
right?
this project is estimated to be, I think, 2026.
Construction,
Yes,
right. Lead services get done
This is 2026.
before that.
correct. Lead service lines will be done before this project is finished.
Okay, but
Or
I guess the
initiated.
question was just, was there any holdouts? I think we've had a few people that say they don't want it.
Yeah,
Right.
that I don't know that that's cross-referenced with First Street, but we can double check with Adam and Eric.
Because obviously we don't want to be cutting it
Correct.
later,
Additional thoughts?
I move to approve and accept the request for qualifications for FAU 2409 First Street resurfacing as submitted by Baxter and Woodman for Phase 3 engineering services.
Second.
Motion and a second by trustee Price. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Huska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapidus?
Aye.
Trustee Andalou?
Aye.
Trustee Wilbur?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. let's go back up to unfinished business item A. Chief, before we dig in, I have to ask, did you put the license sirens on? You did not, okay. Thank you for coming. I know it's your day off.
No, sorry, I seriously, very sorry for coming in late last second.
Not at all. So Trustee Wilbrandt kicked us off. We're kind of hoping to get your sense of how the discussions went and where your head's at relative to this.
Well, I thought the presentations from the get-go were all very solid, and as we went down the line, I think it turned out to be one of those things where we had a success problem, a good fortune problem with the final four that we had to choose from, and I don't think we could go wrong. And I don't know what specifically, if you had any specific questions or anything in particular you want me to touch on.
Well, we'll see. what
No,
the
I
board
mean,
has to-
from staff's perspective, I think both firms that we ended up with, Corrigan Clark and Williams, both have excellent reputations. They've done very good projects within the similar vein. I think the cost numbers are basically nearly identical. So you're really kind of identifying one of the two firms to work with the project based on what we think is who's the best fit for West Dundee. And from staff's perspective, I think one of the key criteria from our perspective is Chief Green's previous working relationship with Williams at Schaumburg gives him a good feel and fit for their efforts and their firm. And so, as I mentioned, deference is, from my perspective, deference is made to Chief Green because he's going to be kind of leading up this project, and his department is the biggest involved department in the process, so.
Trustee Wilbrandt, your thoughts?
Architecturally, I don't see any difference between the two. Both would do a fine job. Presentation value, insight, kind of forward-looking discussions that we had, I would give a slight bump to Williams just based on their last presentation, some of the concepts they drew with relation to the movie theater, the public space in between the two, just some of the ideas that they came out with. Ultimately, it's going to be up to us to sort of get what we need, have it look aesthetically pleasing, at the same time being a municipal building. So I think all things being equal, two great presentations, I would give a slight edge to Williams.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I thought both did a really good job. I thought the concept designs were better from Corrigan Clark. I give them the slight edge, but the Williams piece, they seem to have the local personnel, which is the people that they brought forward have know Dundee, lived in Dundee, participated in Dundee, and I thought that was impressive. So I'm basically fine with wherever we go with it.
Yeah, I'm probably of the same opinion. I probably like Corrigan Clark slightly better from the standpoint of some of the architecture, perhaps a little bit on the sustainability side. I think perhaps they might have a little bit of an edge, but I think either one will do a great job, and I think it comes down to staff who they feel most comfortable with, and some of the other things that came out. So I think that I'm fine with.
Yeah, I think as Chief Green pointed out, all four firms that we interviewed were phenomenal, and I think the final two we had were extremely excellent. And unfortunately, we got to choose one or the other. But we did have an abundance of riches in which to choose, and I think that works well for us. So.
Trustee Wilbrandt give you a lot of deference on this one, so if you care to make a motion.
Anybody else want to weigh in? I guess.
Really, both of them are really neck and neck. I mean, just, slight little things, which is more personal. But I think all in all, either one of the firms
I'll just add, I mean, after they finished presenting last time, I, as everyone has said, they were both impressive, but I felt more of a comfort level with Williams, and I think it's just, again, because they're from the area and everything, it just felt like they're the right fit, that they know us, and there's, I don't know what other word to use, there was just a comfort level, so I like Williams.
Trustee Wilburn?
Okay, I guess I would make a motion, or are we just giving direction?
It's a motion to direct staff and village attorney to prepare a professional services agreement between,
And, okay, so essentially, because we have two alternatives, I pitch one, then a vote, and if it doesn't pass, then pitch the other?
Correct.
Okay. With that, then, I'm sorry if I can go back to. I would make a motion to direct staff and the village attorney to prepare a professional services agreement between the Williams Architects firm and the village of West Dundee for the proposed Public Safety Center number 3 building.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Yuska. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk?
Trustee Wilbur?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Uska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee LaFagianis?
Aye.
Trustee Lee?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Thank you, Chief, and thank you for coming in on your day away.
Don't go anywhere, Chief.
and I just, Brian, on behalf of the village of West Dundee, we really appreciate Corrigan Clark's efforts. It was very impressive, and unfortunately, we had to select one or the other.
Thank you for your time, appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Moving on to new business item A, addendum to Red Speed Enforcement System Agreement. Trustee Wilbrandt.
Of the issues we've talked about in West Dundee, this one is steady and true. We have 2 Red Speed cameras at 31 in Bonkowski and 71 and 32. There have been ebbs and flows of the popularity of these, their usefulness, their service life, and all in all, they've been beneficial to West Dundee for purposes of investigation, crash reconstruction. We've added additional technology to West Dundee through the years, which has aided that even further. I've discussed Red Speed cameras as being a former prosecutor and current defense attorney, my likes and dislikes about them, all things being equal. The ticket ability that is very rigorously monitored by a live person at the village of West Dundee. There's a former protocol, and we do not issue as many tickets as it's just generated out of the machine. All in all, that pays for the operation, it pays for the investigative ability, and it allows us to have 2 very safe intersections to allow increased traffic enforcement. So before you today is a 1-year renewal for Red Speed, and I believe we'll talk about it again next year when it comes due.
Previously, when we first started this, there was discussion of kind of what would be the criteria for issuing an actual ticket. And at the time, it was stated that, you know, if an officer was present and they would have issued a ticket had they been there, that's sort of the criteria. Is that still more or less the way you approach it? Okay.
Ours is 60%.
What's that?
We are 60% of what Red Speed sends us
Yeah.
as violations. 60% of those are what we issue tickets on.
Yeah. So I recently was dinged by one of these, not ours. It was another community, and you know, I looked at the video, and the only violation I could see is that I stopped past the stop bar, you know, for a right turn, and they issued me a ticket. I contested it, and I haven't heard back yet. Fortunately, could contest it by mail. We will see what happens, but I suspect that, you know, in that situation, had I done that here, I probably wouldn't have been issued a ticket. So anyway, I just wanted to verify that that was still our protocol, and I think the value of accident reconstruction, and I recall the event at Main and 31, I think that was before your time, where there was a tanker truck and a car that, went through the red light, but the recollection of all the people that were interviewed is that it was the tanker truck that went through the red light, but it was actually the other way around. And so it, was invaluable to have that that camera there to, kind of see what really happened, so.
Or the baby that fell out of the car.
Right. I mean, the advantage from the village management perspective, I mean, police has a little different perspective from traffic enforcement, but from the village management perspective, the fact that we have video at 2 of our larger intersections on a 24/7 that's available for other purposes is the real benefit. The fact that we do it through red speed and traffic enforcement is the means to justify the ends, but the video and having video within the community on a 24/7 basis is extremely beneficial.
It does generate a bunch of revenue, right?
It's not,
I don't think that's the goal.
yeah, that's not the goal.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
We've argued that for years. There are towns that do it to the millions. That is not our style, and the
But it
sticking
pays
point.
for an officer.
It does,
Right.
and the point that pushes it over the threshold for me always is that we employ a live sergeant to review every single violation, and that's rare.
Right.
With these.
If we were doing this from a revenue standpoint, our numbers would be 95% of the violations that we get, we would be issuing tickets. That's not the purpose of why we do red speed. It's the availability of the video and the traffic enforcement at those intersections.
That was one of the first 5, I'd say, conversations I had in-house over there was, who is monitoring, what the criteria is specifically, because I personally hate that kind of thing. I think it makes us look bad as a profession personally. It does nothing for safety. The rolling, the rolling right turn on red when it's 2 o'clock in the morning and there's not another soul in sight, that kind of thing. I got halfway through the intersection on the yellow and then it turned red, yeah, we absolutely are not writing tickets for those.
How many cars go through that intersection a day?
Which one?
31 and 72? About 30,000?
I think it's closer to 40,000.
Yeah, but when we did the numbers for the mall, it was around 41,000
So
at
it's
that.
really 40,000 cars,
Like
isn't it?
35,000 or something.
Yeah.
Just travel past here, so yeah.
Thinking about that, it's not West Dundee residents, it's a lot of other people that are coming through that intersection, so people in town aren't, it's a safety issue too. I mean, what did I do? I called you that day and there was I literally was sitting at that intersection, 3 cars went through the red. I'm like, seriously? I mean, it was crazy, but, it's not a matter of, us wanting to punish anybody locally, not wanting to punish anybody, village or county-wide or anything like that. It's a matter of safety in that too. And teaching people to maybe slow down. You get hit with one of those things.
I received one on Bonkoski too. I did get a ticket, and I'm like, that wasn't me, but then when the picture came and it was my dog's head hanging out the side of the window, I knew it was me. From that day forward, I no longer roll Bonkoski. I always come to a complete stop, so in case.
Yeah, my wife got one time too, and she was all mad, and we looked at the video, and she didn't even pretend to slow down. I was like, yeah, you're busted.
Sorry.
Trustee Wilbur?
With that, I make a motion to approve the addendum to traffic law enforcement system agreement with Red Speed Illinois LLC, Red Speed.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Yaska. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Wilbur?
Aye.
Trustee Price?
Aye.
Trustee Uska?
Aye.
Trustee Johnson?
Aye.
Trustee Lapagianis?
Aye.
Trustee Andalay?
Aye.
All ayes, motion carries. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion.
Second.
Second by trustee Alapagianis. Any additional discussion or comment? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year.